Hello, welcome back to Decaf-Math ASMR, and a warm welcome if you are new here. I hope that you're doing very well. Today, I thought that we could continue our tedious, maybe boring, maybe sleepy, maybe relaxing video series. We've done some counting, we've recited some digits of pi, we've done some countdown. We did a countdown by powers of 2. We've done our times tables, and today I thought that we could go over some perfect squares. And this idea was suggested by a lovely friend here on the channel. I'm not sure if everyone likes shout outs, so I'll leave out the name, but thank you for this idea. So we are going to square all of the numbers from 1 to 30. And if you happen to fall asleep, that is totally okay. I welcome you to just relax. And if you like, you can see if you can guess or remember some of your perfect squares. I find that when I have a lot on my mind or when I'm really stressed, sometimes it's the most simple and tedious and even boring things that are the most soothing and calming. Soothing and calming. Soothing and calming for me. So I want to make sure that I continue to nurture that here in our little math nook, in addition to our more explanation or practice-based videos. So, let's see how many perfect squares we can remember today. Starting off, we have 1 squared. Written like this, a base number and then a 2 up here, and it means I take my 1 and I multiply it by itself 2 times. So 1 times 1 is 1. So indeed, 1 squared equals 1. Notice that it's 1 times itself, or whatever this base number, times itself 2 times, not 2 times the base number. Okay? So 2 squared is 2 times itself, 2 times 2 times itself, 2 times, which is 4. 3 squared is 3 times itself, which is 9. Excellent. 4 squared is 4 times 4, which is 16. Good. 5 squared is 25. Excellent. So 1, 4, 9, 16, and 25 are all perfect squares. See that? perfect squares. Good. Now, I'm going to erase this, and so that we can continue on to 6. But while I do, see if you can figure out what 6 squared is. What is 6 squared? 6 squared is 6 times 6, which is 36. Good. 7 squared is 7 times 7, which is 49. So as you get used to thinking about just multiplying a number by itself, you don't have to write this out every time. You can just think about this in your mind. 8 squared is 8 times 8, which is 64. 9 squared is 81. 10 squared is 10 times 10, which is actually just 1 squared, which is 1, and then 2 zeros. 1 with double zeros, so our perfect 100. 36, 49, 64, 81, 100. Excellent. Excellent, excellent. Are we getting the pattern now? If you happen to not remember your times tables here, for instance, 8 times 8, what we're really doing is following along the times tables that we talked about in our other video. And if we were to draw out 1 to 12, because that's as far as we went last time, going horizontally, and then 1 to 12 vertically, we would form a 12 by 12 square. And we can pair up all of our numbers to multiply. And what you'll find is our perfect squares: 1 times 1, 2 times 2, 3 times 3, 4 times 4, 5 times 5, 6 times 6, etc. Trace out the diagonal of our times tables. Yep. So that's pretty neat. Now we have 11 squared, which we said is 11 times 11, which is still on our times tables that we covered, but this is getting larger. So if you want to multiply this out by hand, you can. You can use your calculator, or you can just have your friend Margie here at Decaf-Math write it out for you. So this is 121. 12 squared is 12 times 12, which is 144. And this is as far as we've gotten as far as our times tables. But of course, you can keep going. So 13 squared is 169. 169. 14 squared is 196. Excellent. And 15 squared is 15 times 15, which is 225. 225. So we have 121, 144, 169, 196, and 225. And we are exactly halfway. 15 is halfway to 30. Good job. Now we'll move on to 16. So at this point, it really comes down to either multiplying it out or just using a calculator, but it does help to have some of these memorized, especially if you are using them. But it's natural to kind of forget if you don't use them for a while. So 16 squared is 16 times 16, which is 256. 17 squared is 289. 18 squared is 324. 324. 19 squared is 361. 361. And then 20 squared is 2 squared. So 2 times 2 is 4 with our double zeros. 400. 256, 289, 324, 361, and 400. Of course, don't worry if you haven't used these in a while. It's totally natural to not really remember them, in which case you can always just try to memorize them now or just recalculate them. I'm curious, have you used these perfect squares recently? And if so, in what context? Let me know. I will say, as I'm looking at it, 17 squared, if you're familiar with our friend Pythagoras, you might recognize 17 squared as a special one. So now let's continue to 21 squared. 21 squared is 21 times 21, which is 441. 441. 22 squared is 484. 23 squared is 529. 529. 24 squared is 576. And 25 squared is 625. 625. 441, 484, 529, 576, 625. Excellent, excellent job. And now we decided to keep going all the way to 30. All the way to 30. So let's keep at it. 26 squared is 676. 27 squared is 27 times 27, just 729. 28 squared is 784. 29 squared is 841. 30 squared, which is 3 squared. 3 times 3, which is 9. And double zeros. 900. Very good. Now these are getting quite large, and like I said, unless you actually use this, they might not look so familiar. That's okay. 676, 729, 784, 841, and 900. Excellent. So, if you are asleep right now, I wish you peaceful, sweet, sweet dreams. And if you are not asleep right now, I hope you have a wonderful, wonderful rest of your day or night. And I will see you for more math very, very soon. Take care.